Single mothers don't burn out loudly. They don't collapse in obvious ways. They keep going. They keep functioning. And most people assume they're fine because they're still standing. This video is for women who feel exhausted but don't feel they're allowed to stop. The myth of the strong single mum. Single mothers are often described as strong, and at first that sounds like a compliment. But strength, when it's expected, becomes a trap. Because when you're labelled strong, no one checks if you're coping. No one asks what it's costing you. No one notices when you're running on empty. You don't get to fall apart because you're the one holding everything together. Instead of asking for help, you adapt, you harden, and you survive. The invisible workload that no one sees. Single motherhood isn't just physical work. It's constant mental and emotional labour. It's thinking ahead, planning meals, managing money, regulating emotions, yours and the children's. It's being the safe place while you're not feeling safe yourself. There's no switching off, no handover. And no, I'll deal with it tomorrow. When people say everyone's tired, what they miss is you're tired because you're doing everything alone. And the bit that no one talks about, financial pressure and quiet fear. Single mothers don't talk enough about fear. Not panic, not drama, quiet fear. The kind that shows up late at night when the house is finally still and when your mind starts calculating, what if something goes wrong? What if something breaks? What if I get sick? What if the money doesn't stretch far enough? You don't voice it because you have to keep functioning. You have to carry it quietly, and that weight doesn't leave your body, not for a second. And let's not forget the bit about why asking for help feels impossible. From the outside, it can look like single mums don't need no help, don't ask for help, but often it's because they've learnt. Help doesn't always come. Maybe you were told you should manage. Maybe you were judged. Maybe you were disappointed too many times, so eventually it feels safer just to say nothing. Because explaining your exhaustion takes energy, and you don't have any of that left. Shall I tell you what burnout actually looks like? Burnout doesn't always look like breaking down. Sometimes it just looks like numbness, irritability, forgetting things. It looks like crying in private, or not crying at all. It looks like losing joy, but still showing up, and that can be confusing, because you love your children deeply. Burnout doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've been caring without support. And why no one talks about this honestly? Because there's a lot of pressure on single mothers to appear positive, to be grateful, to be resilient, to make it look easy. Admitting exhaustion can feel like admitting failure, even when it isn't. So many women stay silent, not because they're fine, but because they don't feel safe to tell the truth. So, how do we begin to recover and get a little bit of rest without adding any pressure? Recovery doesn't start with fixing everything. It starts with honesty, with admitting you're tired, without explaining it away, with letting go of the idea that rest has to be earned, lowering expectations, not because you're failing, but because you're human. You don't need a complete reset, you need relief, small moments, small kindnesses towards yourself, not becoming a new person, but by the supporting the one you already are. Maybe little meditations, take a break, just a cuppa to breathe. You know what I mean? Take yourself on a little walk, just anything for you. Go put some makeup on, go wash your hair, just go and have 20 minutes just for yourself. If this video felt like someone finally said what you've been holding in, you're not alone. You are not weak. You're worn down. And rest isn't giving up, it's repair. You're welcome to stay here for a little while. Take a moment just to have a rest. This right here is your space where somebody understands.